Yeah, I would love to share my story with you in hopes that it reaches the right people who need the help, who need the support, and who need a little bit of guidance on how they can move forward out of their pain and into their purpose. So my story starts out, the first traumatic experience I had was being molested at the age of 9. So I was just very young, and it was a close family member. This was really traumatic for me, and it really sent me inside myself. I became very scared and very alone and very isolated. Then it also sent me down the wrong path, because now I thought sexuality and sexual experiences meant love, and that was how I was going to get love and attention and affection. And it ended me up meeting up with a 16-year-old when I was only 10, who took advantage of me and ended up raping me. And I didn't understand at the time that it was rape. I thought that this guy would be my boyfriend. It's only looking back as an adult that I see at 10 years old, you're not capable of making that decision for yourself, and that I was taken advantage of. That just continued on, this sexual promiscuity. And eventually I got into drugs by the age of 14, and I was using this as a coping mechanism for my poor mental health. And from there, I ended up getting into prostitution at the age of 16, because I needed to fund my drug addiction so that I didn't have to think. I could just numb everything. And I really learned to disassociate myself from my body through prostitution, because you have to leave to do these acts and then use the drugs to numb everything and forget about it. And it just turned into a really vicious cycle. And I know people do that in different ways with trauma. Maybe they do it with food or alcohol or being in an abusive relationship. They find ways to just numb themselves out. So eventually I was able to get sober off of the drugs, and I did find myself some help. I got into therapy, where I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, and they assessed it that it was due to trauma, this coming on bipolar disorder. And I went on medication, and it really helped me at the time to level myself out, and I was able to get a new job. I got into personal training, so health and fitness was always really important to me. And I was able to start working with other people, and they kind of turned into therapy sessions, because not only are you helping motivate them with the fitness, but as you're working out together, they're telling you about some of their problems, and you're kind of helping, just being that sounding board for them. Eventually, I got married. I read the book, The Secret, and it changed my life. It gave me the idea of power of positive thoughts. So I met the man of my dreams. I had kids, but I did suffer a little bit more with mental health during this time. And I had postnatal depression, or postpartum depression, as well as prenatal depression with one of my pregnancies. So those took me down really, really low. And it was actually at the age of 37, 3 years ago, I'm 40 now, that it really knocked me on my feet, and I realized I hadn't done my healing. The medication was another numbing tool. It was just keeping everything down so that I could go through my life. And so I really had to get into some deep therapy, and I got into group therapy, and I started to heal myself. And one of the biggest healers for me was learning about meditation. And that really helped me to change the way my brain was functioning, because through meditation, we help to grow the part of our brain that helps with positive thought and feelings. And it also helps to shrink the part of the brain that is responsible for fear and anxiety. And so eventually I was able to actually come off of the medication. And if anyone is thinking of coming off medication, you need to have a support system in place. And you also need to talk with your doctor about this. But I was able to come off, and they told me I never would. But through meditation and other healing, yoga and support groups, I was able to come off medication. And it's been a year and a half now of me managing my mental health on my own.